So we're going to be talking about the scheduled visit of President Romuald Wadagni of Benin Republic to Bamako today, the 9th of June 2026. According to the information available on open source, President Romuald Wadagni will be visiting Senegal. Then from Senegal, where we'll be visiting President Diomaye Bashir Faye. Then it will meet, Osman Sonko. Then it will travel to Bamako to visit Assimi Goïta, and it will go to Guinea-Bissau, it will go to Equatorial, go to Guinea-Conakry, and every other West African state. So, according to information, the visit to Bamako has been highly anticipated. We talked about this early on. We said it was going to be from Burkina Faso. It was going to be going to Mali. It was going to visit Mali, but I don't know what happened. Why it did not visit Mali? So, but now, according to the information we have, the official agenda is focused on strengthening bilateral cooperation between Mali and Benin Republic. And the key topics that will be discussed: economic partnership, regional partnership, and security cooperation between Mali and Benin Republic. According to information, the discussion will cover infrastructure, energy, agriculture, and digital technology. According to further information, we're getting reports that there is going to be transfer of intelligence, shared intelligence between Benin Republic and Mali. All right. They already have this type of framework with Burkina Faso in the same vein. We also have information that the talks will address broader effort to enhance trade and logistics, with Benin aiming to position itself as the key logistic hub for the region. Actually, given the capability of the Beninese port in Cotonou and the proximity of that port to the Sahel states, I think it's just a win-win partnership for both. As long as Romuald Wadagni stands on business and it can limit the French interests, because um, the fact that we love these moves, all right, you finally get to watch me live. All right, thank you so much, family, for joining. Family, please let us hit the like button. It allows this live stream to go further. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I think about this is, as long as it's important that Africa needs to unite, the cooperation is very, very beautiful. Again, France might try to play games here because we cannot turn our attention away from the fact that France still has some level of influence in Benin Republic. Okay, they have their forces stationed in Benin Republic. Now, before, when Patrice Talon was the president of Benin, Benin had nothing to offer the Alliance of Sahel states, right? And if you don't have anything to offer me, you have no leverage over me. And at some point, the Western coalition felt like cutting every economic and diplomatic ties with the AES was going to make AES weak or weaker. But at the end of the day, they discovered that by cutting relationship with the Alliance of Sahel, it gave them the opportunity to access other options. That markets are not limited to the Western coalition, because ECOWAS is equally a Western creation. So even though it was created by some group of Africans, but everything got sold out to the Western coalition, even the African Union. So according to information, so we have to be very careful. I will not lie about that. President Romuald Wadagni is a very, very good person, a shrewd operator. I am giving him that benefit of doubt. But the fact that France still has a significant influence in Benin, makes me look at this relationship like, wait a minute, because look at what just happened to the French DGSE agent in Mali that's been sentenced to 20 years imprisonment with hard labor. And also, it wasn't just sentenced to 20 years imprisonment, he will be paying a fine. And a lot of people have been complaining about why the Malian justice system did not make it an open trial, why they did not try, why they did not try their own officers, openly. This is Malian sacred um, process. It has nothing to do with the public. All right. There are some things that should be made available to public opinion. There are some things that should be made available to in fact, it should be classified. I think Mali moved in the right direction to let us know that the foreigner, who is the main destabilizing force, because let's come to think of it, whose interests does that coup benefit? France. Who instigated the entire thing? France. So we've had some conversation. Why did they not do this and do that? That is Mali's sacred decision. They will decide whichever way they want to do their thing. The most satisfactory aspect of the whole thing is the DGSE agent has finally been prosecuted, and he has finally, been sent to prison under Malian laws. I think that should be one of the few African countries that have grown enough cojones to take that type of decision. That said, given the fact that France still has significant influence in Benin Republic, we can't sleep on them. We are embracing, we are accepting the relationship, but we can't be sleeping. Not on the Beninois. No. We can't be sleeping on France in Benin Republic. Do you get the game? But it is because in Africa we see ourselves as brothers. If it's in the Middle East, you see how things go. You see how they play the geopolitical game in the Middle East. If they have their bases, if they are staying in your country, Iran sees the whole country as an enemy state. But we don't do that in Africa here. Well, let's see if Romuald Wadagni can be able to maneuver his way and act in the interest of the Beninois people and also in the interest of the Pan-African Brotherhood. That said, according to further information, they said, given the security challenges in the West African region, they will be having conversation on security coordination. Well, they said, and this will be a significant point of dialogue in these bilateral talks. What do I think? Nigeria is already acting in coordination with Benin Republic. They can discuss, when it comes to security, they can have a discussion, all right? But Benin Republic has a lot to do for us too, right? Benin Republic has a lot to do for the African people. It's so unfortunate that I cannot find my way to Bamako very early tomorrow. That would have been a very, very good opportunity for me to ask. If anybody can hear me, that can ask this question on our behalf, that we want Benin Republic as a show of goodwill and brotherhood to go in and remove our Pan-African brother from South Africa, from the clutches of South African government. That is what was his name? I've forgotten his name. Can somebody remind me in the comments the name of this our Pan-African brother? Kemi Seba, right? At the end of the day, Kemi Seba is a Beninois. This is not Patrice Talon. This is Romuald Wadagni, right? And I think this is an opportunity for a recalibration of relationship, and it's further damaged the image and the integrity of Benin Republic to have your citizen in South Africa being held down, all because I don't know. At this point, I don't know. I don't know. In the best of my opinion, I think this is an opportunity for Wadagni to come in clean and not inherit the crisis of Patrice Talon, because going forward to fulfill the intention of the failed ex-president of Benin will be Romuald Wadagni inheriting a lot of trouble. So I feel like the question should be asked from the new president should be, what is he doing to secure the release of Kemi Seba? And I think they can talk things out. Kemi Seba can even be very, very instrumental in the next geopolitical phase of the Beninois Republic. They need him. They need him. Patrice Talon was bad for every books. All right, every book out there, Patrice Talon was bad for it. So we are leaning on President Romuald Wadagni to do the right thing. All right, because at the end of the day, Kemi Seba is more Beninois than is French, and any other thing that anybody wants to say. So it will be an opportunity to go and secure their citizen and our brother in Africa. Well, that said, when it comes to security relationship, I kind of think that Benin Republic needs the Sahel countries more. The Sahel country needs Benin Republic, but the Benin Republic needs the Sahel countries more. Why am I saying this? Benin Republic needs the Sahel country because when it comes to sharing of intelligence, oh, thank you so much, family. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. When it comes to insecurity in northern Benin, you need your neighbors. Niger Republic is on point with Benin right now. Um, Niger Republic is on point with Burkina Faso, and they have a verbal security agreement. Um, Talking to Mali is very, very important too. Because the entire alliance of Sahel states, they exist as a single confederation. So it's almost as if you're talking about a single country. So it is very, very important for Benin Republic to have this cooperation and collaboration with them. Now that said, I think on the side of Benin, Benin Republic needs to equally work hard to secure our territory. Do they have that position? Do they have that capacity right now? I don't really know. Does Romuald Wadagni does he have that capability to stand up to the French and tell them it is time for you to go? We can take care of our own security. I don't think so either. All right. But the fact remains that this is the right time for Benin Republic to take their own destiny with their own hands. France cannot secure herself. Have you seen Paris recently? The crisis has not stopped. Economically, France cannot save France. All right. So, having France in Benin Republic, I think the only benefit of having France in Benin Republic right now is to destabilize the region. Because can anyone explain to me right now the strategic relevance of the French occupying forces, right? Occupation forces in the entire region? Can anybody tell me one single significance, if not to destabilize the region? That is the only purpose of having France in the region. And I am very, very sad to announce that, according to the information we had, Marshal Itno Deby of Chad has equally brought in some French forces again. At some point he told the French forces to leave. Now they are back in Chad. All right. According to the information they released, they said that the French forces coming back is not in a huge capacity, that they are going to be bringing in some instructors and some special forces operative to combat the Boko Haram in Lake Chad region and all of that. But ladies and gentlemen, we all know what time it is. But then there is another information that I would like to discuss with everyone today. The Malian armed forces have been conducting serious military operation, both aerial operation, reconnaissance, surveillance, intelligence sharing has been on a very, very high level. Morocco has played a very significant role right now when it comes to intelligence sharing with Mali. And ladies and gentlemen, it's an opportunity for me, all right, to give a lot of props to Niger Republic when it comes to the counterterrorism in northern Mali. Niger Republic has played a pivotal role. I mean, to some people, they said the role is beyond pivotal. All right. Um, it's beautiful because Niger has some capabilities that have been able to help the Malians to maximize every precision targeted strike in the Kidal region. And to the elements in Kidal, it would be very, very difficult for them to escape. The reason is because Niger Republic has some asymmetric capability that can outlast every ISR capability in the Sahel region. Even in Algeria, across the entire region, Niger has the best ISR capability with a maximum endurance of 60 hours. All right, 13 hours with maximum payload, but 60 hours when it's just on ISR mission. Okay, and that is the Thai Aksongo drone. EJ is the only one in the region that has that strategic capability. Mali right now, when it comes to their area campaign, is on a whole new level. Like, is on like anything we've ever seen. Before, you see, escalation, it goes out of control sometimes, right? It doesn't benefit the enemy sometimes. And sometimes it can benefit the enemy. But the longer the prolong this war, the longer the enemies don't give up, the stronger Mali is going to get. How do I mean? The record clarifies everything here. Number one, Mali only has 2 operational Barakte Akinshi drones before, just 2. And both drones were struck down in Tinzawanten. Both drones struck down in Tinzawanten by the Algerian, defense forces. They struck it down with the S-400 system that they got from Russia, you know. And till today, Algeria have not apologized. Till today, Algeria have not owned up to that crime. Well, after they struck down the Malian drones, the Malians filed charges against Algeria, which have really limited the role of Algeria in the destabilization of Mali right now. Algeria could be playing even a more integral role, but Algeria fell back after that attack and the response from the Malian side, together with their cooperation with Russia and the role that China played also. So, right now, after the 2 operational Barakte Akinshi were displaced, the Malians bought 6. The Malian bought 6 Barakte Akinshi drones. And when you are dealing with asymmetric forces, right, you are dealing with forces you don't see. They are not readily available. They don't have a base. They don't have a staging point where you know that, okay, this is the contact line. This is where we are going to meet them. It is very, very difficult. In fact, the fighter jets won't help you. The only time the fighter jets might help you if you have reconnaissance capability. And, having 6 Barakte Akinshi drone have really, really helped the Malians take their security to another level. And I think the Western coalition knows that the Malian armed forces, their capabilities is on a whole nother level. We're not talking about helicopters, we're not talking about fighter jets, we're not talking about some strategic capabilities that they have, like planes and all of that. But the Malians have 6 operational now. And according to information, they have now recently reached an agreement with Turkey to further improve on the Barakte Akinci drone stockpile they have. Now, another capability they have, the Malian Armed Forces have 19 operational Barakta TB2 drones, and each can carry 4 different payloads. All right. And, having 19 together with 6 Barakta Akinci helicopters and all other capabilities that the Malian have, including light armored vehicles and armored tanks and different capabilities, the FLA has been reduced to nothing. You can see most of the bases right now in the Kidal region that they took on April 25 is now empty. All right. No, we're going to get to the Russian Kronstadt Orion conversation. So right now in Kidal, if you look at most of the bases that were captured on April 25, every base have been, evacuated. Nobody is there anymore. We have been seeing the FPV strikes that have been carried out by the Russian African Corps, both fiber optic strikes and FPV. The bases are empty. The bases are empty. And when you look at the secondary blasts from the fuel, logistic that have been hit, we don't have a massive secondary strike, which means they've completely spent their reserve. So some way, somehow, they have been able to escape or wiped out. That said, it is not. Some people are saying the Malians should occupy the base again. For me, I don't think it's right for the Malians to occupy the base. All right, right now, most especially in Kidal, central Kidal, it is not the time to occupy those bases. Before they can occupy the base, some serious defensive and surveillance plan has to be in place. I'm talking about elite ones, because Algeria is very close. And when you look at the operational range of some of the capabilities that have been provided to these FLA fighters by the Western, coalition, the striking distance is there. So it won't be advisable. So right now, what the Malians are doing, they are using their superior capabilities in terms of ISR, in terms of offensive capabilities to hurt the FLA and the JNIM. The JNIM have not been able to fight on equal footing right now. The reason is because it's not infantry against infantry. And one of their most effective weapons, which is the improvised explosive device, the Malian armed forces have been, they've been stopping everything. At least the terrorists are very, very quick to publish whatever achievements they've made in terms of ambush or whatever. And even the Malians have been able to adapt on the fly to the asymmetric technique of blocking the civilian convoy. And this is what conflict creates. It creates adaptation. It creates good endurance and durability. Now you have Malian forces, infantry, right, doing things that they could not do in the time past. Sometimes area supports don't come very quickly, but they are still able to perform nicely, piling enough casualty on the enemy to make the enemy retreat very fast. That said, what we have presently is a change in the dynamics of the conflict. According to information from open source, we are hearing that the Kronstadt Orion drone was spotted in the Malian airspace. First of all, I can't really verify, all right, if that Kronstadt Orion drone belonged to the Malian armed forces. It's a Russian creation. It was created in 2020 and it's been operational on so many fronts. The first combat deployment of the Kronstadt Orion was in Algeria. Algeria has some of this capability, and the basis for this Kronstadt Orion is towards the southern part of Mali, southern part of Algeria, very proximal to the northern flank of Mali, most especially in the Baji Mukhtar region. Now, I was thinking, I might be wrong. I said, could this be Algerian drones? That is just me thinking negatively, right? On the optimistic side, it could be that the Russian African Corps, they have been using the Kronstadt Orion drone for their own operational, duties. They use their vectors of different kind. They use their fighter jet. They use their helicopters. I think the Russian African Corps might have brought in their own combat drones. We all know that the Akinchis, the TB2s, they are under the strict command control of the Malian armed forces. So it is very, very possible that the Russian armed forces have now brought in their Orion drones. Now, the Orion drone is a very, very good drone. Good endurance. The Orion drone can last for about 25 hours plus. 25 hours and 46 minutes. That is how long it can spend in the air. The Orion drone can perform ISR mission, aerial intelligence gathering. It has both air-to-air capability, air-to-surface capabilities. It carries the KAB-50, AAB-20 laser-guided missile. It carries the FAB-50, and it can carry some, UCAB-50 missiles. So this is a very, very good capability. It can carry 4 munitions at a time. According to information, what it's supposed to carry is supposed to be 200 kilograms at a time, right? But there are some development. Depending on how the Orion drone is being developed, it can carry up to 250, where you have one other capability attached to the fuselage. So how do I think this is going to change situation in Mali? It's not better than the TB2 drone. If you look at all the capabilities of this Orion drone, it is better you have a TB2 than have Orion, okay? They carry almost the same payload, but the TB2 carries a little bit more. The TB2 has a longer endurance than the Orion drone. The Orion drone is cheaper than the TB2, depending on the type you are getting. There are 3 different classes of the Orion drone. For me, right? For me, I think it is better that they bring more of these capabilities. Why? It's going to even make the life of the enemies in Mali very, very difficult. And when we speak like this, a lot of people don't understand what we are talking about. In Mali, if you've heard the names of the Islamic State commanders that have been neutralized in Mali, in Nigeria, we are hearing of al-Minuki recently. We don't know him, right? It's only the US that said al-Minuki is the second in command of the entire ISIS, right? Do you know why they know that is the second in command? I will leave that to everybody to judge. This is very, very funny, right? In Mali, we've seen ISIS commanders that play key roles in Syria, like top ISIS commander. There is one that was used in Syria, used in Libya. They call him Mukhtar al-Mukhtar. Mukhtar Bel-Mukhtar. It was neutralized in Mali. There are so many of them. All right? And one of the most important questions we should ask is, why are these top Islamic State commanders, why are they all surfacing in Mali? Mali is neutralizing them. But why is it that suddenly they all, pitch their tent in Mali? It takes us to another question. Where was their last theater of operation? Their last theater of operation was in Libya. Another question we should be asking is, if their last theater of operation was in Libya, who deployed them in Libya? Whose purpose were they serving in Libya? If you know whose purpose they were serving in Libya, why are they in Mali? Who is giving them the capabilities that they are using? Who is financing their operation? Who is giving them the intelligence? Who is giving them the, reconnaissance data? The KYCs for the Starlink. Who provides it? Mali is equally fighting NATO. It's as simple as that. And is Mali supposed to collaborate with the Western coalition? Absolutely not. Mali is with the right partners. A lot of people don't understand this analysis is deeper than what it is. It's deeper than it meets the eyes. A lot of people will be like, oh, why is Mali not collaborating with the US? It's like collaborating with the source of your problem. So the US will play. They will play the game. And you know what they do? They will pour fuel on two burning coal. Like they will keep pouring fuel on both. So you think they are saving you, at the same time, they keep the war going and they keep benefiting at the end of it. They've played this game for the longest. And given the ferocity of the type of Islamic State elements that have been deployed and the MNLA element that have been deployed in Mali, I think the best guys that can confront those people 1v1, I think, are the Russians. The Russians are the best partners that the Malians can get that can confront these enemies. Go and look at the performance on the Ukrainian front line. We released some videos on our Telegram channel. You can see what the Russians are doing. Like when it comes to direct confrontation with the enemy and the right brutality that match the ferocity of the enemy, you need the Russians. Mali cannot afford. Yesterday, the strike in the Modia region, the strike in Buguni. What did we find there? Artisanal mines. I told you, they cannot continue. Look, their sponsors cannot survive the economic trenches that they've been beating back to right now. They cannot even survive in those trenches if these illegal operations don't continue. France have left Mali, but the machineries of France are still in Mali. So the question is, how much gold is France still taking in Mali? Not like it used to, but enough to still breathe. Those people are not going to make peace. Not anytime soon, not ever. So Mali only need to keep consolidating on their achievements, keep building on their capacity. And in my opinion, Mali will truly be free when they are equally as powerful as Algeria, or they are more powerful than Algeria. And they must come to that point where they must be prepared for every confrontation. Any confrontation, they must be prepared for it. And peace in Mali is equally linked to the end of the Russia-Ukraine war. I've been telling a lot of people that war will not end until the war in the Sahel would not end until it ends over there. So these conflicts are linked. If Russia completely crushes the enemy over there, the battle starts ending here. It starts ending here. So a lot of people, you have to equally pay attention to what is going on there, because everything is linked to this place. France will not let go. Every Oreshnik strike is a message. Stay far away from Mali. They get more weakened. They know that we are not strong enough to confront them. So for me, Niger is on a different page entirely. And according to the information we're given recently, we've been monitoring everything. We discovered that the conversation around the leaders of the Alliance of Sahel has changed. They no longer call them juntas. Go and find out. All right? They now call them leaders. And it is no fluke that President Romuald Wadagni is now touring the entire. See, I believe that there is a type of, a sort of reassessment of posture towards the Sahel that is going on right now. The African Union is changing their posture. ECOWAS has completely changed their posture. And at the end of the day, if you study the whole geopolitical, turns and twists right now, you discover that the biggest loser here is France, and it continues to be France. The Kenya African Forward Summit ended in shame. They continue to scramble all across the whole place just to find a way to survive. It's there for everybody to see. Look, France is in problem. Look, the trouble is huge. The European Union did not even deny. They said they are worried because the level of inflation. France is behind, so behind right now. But when the top dog is down, nobody really knows the top dog is dying. Because everybody will still be like, oh, he's still the top dog. But they don't know he's finished. He's attenuated already. But nobody knows because they still see that color. It still look like the body is still there, but the soul is gone. Look at the uranium capacity. It's between Niger and Kazakhstan. The uranium capacity is between Niger and Kazakhstan. Niger has gold in the Agadez region. In fact, the gold is so huge. Niger is blessed. They don't only have that, they equally have oil. They keep discovering oil in different places. Do you look, don't talk about cooperation with us. Why do you think the Nigerian people don't want to hear anything? The reason is because I could remember back in 2020 to 2019, President Buhari sent money to the Nigerian government, sent bulletproof vehicles to the Nigerian government. Nigeria was giving Niger aids. They said they need it. They are almost dying. They need this same Niger. Now everybody knows that if you leave them alone, they will be in fact, with the right movement, Niger will go from a poor nation to a developed nation if resources are being managed well without escalation. Just imagine what would have happened in this country if there was no aggression against them. Imagine the level of development. Even in war. Have you seen the recent video in Mali? You've seen the development. And the enemies are scared of development. They know that is one of the fastest, way to eradicate the different methodologies they use in dividing societies. So, for me, I think the Malian armed forces are stepping the right way. We have a lot of videos right now that I should have released, but I felt like today is I feel like we should just have a live stream today. And this old buzz that is going around, that's going about with people saying that, the Malians have just gotten the Orion Crunstar drone. I just felt like, we've been releasing too many KIAs recently of the enemy. So I felt like today was the right time to just cool it down a little bit. Tomorrow, this is for yesterday. So we are going to be there's a lot of information on the battlefield right now. We are going to be dropping it. There is so much, but while watching the video, we've dropped some of them on our Telegram channel. I discovered that so many enemies have been neutralized. Wherever they are getting these people from, I mean, this is murder. These people, they are being, they were brought. Look, these people, they are getting them from murder. These people has to be orcs. They cannot be anything but orcs because the level of elimination, right? They have to be orcs. There is no arguing that. Because I'm looking at the number of kills and I'm asking myself, like, God, I'm tired of like posting the KI strikes and strikes and strikes. The one in Modia, like, I feel like, all right, let's talk about these new capabilities that people are talking about. Good capability, very, very solid capability. But I think it will be in the control of the Russian African Corps. And I think the Malian armed forces too, they are good with what they have. Right now, the Malian armed forces are very, very good. They are very, very solid with what they have. Towards the south, if the Malian can completely crush the elements in Mopti, it's over for the whole central region. The insecurity in the central part of Mali revolves around Mopti. Just Mopti. All right? If they can crush whatever insurrection that comes out of Mopti, is over for the central region. In the northern part of Mali, it's things are one thing. You see, whatever happens in Tessalit, in Kidal, it's nothing. It's things are one thing. Mopti things are one thing. Is over with. Every other thing you have in regions like Kayes, what the enemies are trying to do, they are trying to spread, they are trying to stretch the Malian forces. All right. They want to stretch the Malian forces. They want to use the distract technique just to distract the Malians so that they won't be able to concentrate their capabilities on Kidal right now. But most of the bases we've been seeing in Kidal are completely empty as we speak. The enemies are no longer waiting. And well, we will see. I think the Russian African Corps and the Malians, they don't want to return to Kidal. Yeah, I think they don't want to return right now for tactical reasons. Because if you come to Kidal, you are already within firing range. So there's no point in no. It's asymmetry to asymmetry right now because the enemy don't equally know when the drone is upon them, and that's some sort of asymmetry, and it gives the Malians that operational advantage. So nobody knows where everybody is. You don't even because the movement of the Malian armed forces right now is so good. You don't know where they are going to be. And they've already created a buffer zone. I know you all must have been seeing, if you follow the African Core channel, the Telegram channel, you will see like 2 kills, 3 kills, 1 kill, 2 kill, 1 kills. Those are JNIM, EIGS, and FLA operatives that have been sent on surveillance missions. Like they cannot have, the drones are being shut down. Anything that crosses that buffer zone is being eliminated. So they don't have that effect on like, okay, what is going on here? Except if their sponsors come to their rescue and kind of, okay, this is what we have here, this is what we have here, this is what we have here. So, and today, the JNIM spotted the Russian African Corps and the Malian Armed Forces. And they tried to run. They did not try to engage. Unluckily for some of them, they were neutralized on the spot. Some of them fled with bullet wounds. So that's what we have right now. There is a mental pressure on the enemy right now. And General Assimi Goïta, different channels, according to information that we're hearing, they have tried to talk to him through different channels for sort of peace deal. There is no agreement. There is no audience. So it's airstrikes all days, military operation all day, and they perform military operations even in the night. So The Malians are in the best position right now. The Burkinabes are in the best position. And they are fighting and they are getting results. They are moving. For Burkina Faso, it's extremely dangerous for the enemy. We have a whole long video. We've posted it on our Telegram channel. I think a 30 plus minute video. Burkina Faso is different. You know, their rapid intervention brigade just gives them a significant edge. The VDPs are doing their best, but the rapid intervention brigade of Burkina Faso is a whole different conversation entirely. Those guys with air support, without air support, they do what they do all day, And I love what is going on in Mali. If you are a terrorist, you know what they do. They send you to where you belong. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll continue to monitor what's going on the line of contact. We'll bring the information to you later in the day on the military front. And as soon as we get the report from the bilateral meeting that President Romuald Wadagni is going to have with General Assimi Goïta, we are going to bring it over here. So I really want to thank everybody for their time. It's been it's been a while. It's been a while that we did this live stream like this, but we're trying to make things better, you know. So I really want to appreciate everyone. So if anyone have any question, you can ask. I have 1 more minute before I go. So if you have any question, you can ask. So and after 1 minute, we'll be done. More, more of like what? More of like what do you want us to talk about? Any question? Then we have a lot of information, but we don't know which one especially. So we don't really have reports on General Abbas Dembele. Oh man, the situation in South Africa. The situation in South Africa is terrible. The situation in South Africa is desperately terrible, like extremely terrible. I won't lie to you. The third batch of the Ghanaians have returned back home. Ghana is removing their citizens from South Africa, which is very, very important. Kudos to the Ghanaian government. We don't know about Nigeria. If you're a Nigerian citizen, if you're a Nigerian citizen and you are in South Africa, Tinubu is not ready to come get you. Like whatever happens, happens. Find your way out of South Africa. That's your business, but it shouldn't be this way. Actually, it shouldn't be this way. It's very, very disappointing. And I keep hearing President Cyril Ramaphosa talking about having collaboration with African presidents. Was talking about having a discussion with the president of Ghana, President John Dramani Mahama. I know President Mahama is no fool. Looking at the behavior of South Africa right now, if you look at what is going on in South Africa right now, you can argue that the government of South Africa is equally aware of what is going on. Very, very aware. And it looks like this uprising is a sponsored one to hide the incompetence and the failure of the South African government. But anyway, the people that are living in South Africa are so much. And I'm scared for the South African. I'm scared for the economic future, because you know why you should be scared? Because whatever happens, the white South Africans will only leverage on whatever gap has been created. Whatever gap is left behind by the blacks that have left the country, the white South Africans are going to take over that space. Because the black South Africans only know how to keep dancing and doing all this. So Julius Malema have said everything about it, that how many jobs have been created since the people have left. These people don't understand anything. They just want to take out their anger on people, but it's all good. And in DRC right now, the situation is not improving. It's not improving at all. The situation in DRC is not improving at all. More civilians continue to get harmed in a very gruesome fashion. In a very, very gruesome fashion. One will wonder what the French forces are doing there. You will equally wonder what the US forces are doing there. In fact, let's be honest, you have NATO forces in the DRC. And when you have NATO coalition in a certain place, you know why they are there. You know why they're there. And I can guarantee you, the whole trouble you have in DRC, you can't count the US. Like, the US is the only entity that is responsible for everything. No other. You think insecurity can last for that long without the US knowledge and awareness, and you think they have nothing to benefit or they have nothing to do with it? Everything in DRC starts with the US, it ends with the US. If you understand. And they have been building this for quite a while. And what they want to benefit, the resources. And probably they will put some occupation forces. They will deploy them in DRC. And they will use this, they will create a lot of bases in the region to, maintain some level of surveillance over the entire region. And as you all know, the first time they used Ebola, it failed. So they remodified the DNA. They created a more virulent strain, collected the biological data, specimens, samples of Africans, tested and see how it was going to respond. Fortunately and unfortunately for them, it responded the right way. And they reintroduced the same bioweapon back to DRC. You see, the world is so messed up to the point where it is years after that you will now have some of this information out there. The US will equally release the information. And a lot of people will ask, there is almost nothing they've done that is not in the open. A lot of people will ask, why are they telling on themselves? It's a way of, it's called mental terrorism. To tell you that we have several ways of skinning cats. We can come at you conventionally. We can come at you in a very dirty way. They are not, that's the only country I've seen that is not shy to do things in a very horrible manner. Everything in the DRC. All right, I've not seen your question, family. I've not seen your question. What is the question? Let me see your question. Yeah, Tanzanian president goes to Moscow because the West puts a lot of pressure on her. They try to, you know what they try to do? And the Tanzanian president looked at it that, and the BRICS have been trying to form a collaboration with Tanzania, right? He gave them the opportunity. A lot of partners out there now. All right. A lot of partners are out there. The BRICS have been able to show that you all have an option. You all have another option in multipolarity. You all have another better option with multipolarity. They push that off. They try to sanction the Tanzanian regime, do a lot of all those bully tactics, and there she goes. Bye-bye to the Western world. You see, they might think the unipolar order is gone. It's not as strong as it used to be. It's not as strong as it used to be. It will never be the same. This is not me making a prophecy. This is what is going on right now. And for the question that King D's asked, Ibrahim Traore mandate is going in the right direction. Our brothers in the our sheikhs and the rest of them that try to create some sort of insurrection inside Ouagadougou. I think some of those guys would like to become military personnel after this boot camp training because some of them are even more fit right now. Some of them are stronger. Some of them can lead parades right now. The training was so very, very good training, but the training continues. And after the training is completed, they will be sent to the Labal Brigade. Am I still relocating to the AES. Should I talk about it? Actually, I've prepared myself to leave Nigeria. Okay. Um. So yeah, I'm leaving, but not the AES. I would have gone to the AES, but not the AES. But another tactically very another very tactical country. Brother or Maketa know where I'm going to, but it's another tactical, very Packard country like that. Um, yeah. I'm not gonna give any detail. I'm not gonna give any detail. I can tell you I'm going to another country and you find me in the AES. So me telling you, see, informations like this, you never can tell where I'm going. A lot of people thought I was going to Namibia, but you're going to find me where you're going to find me very soon, and the environment is going to change. I'm not going to be making my live stream from this place anymore. Um, you know, I don't know how it will be, but definitely, I think my first week where I'm going, we'll be having live streams. You know, and you are going to enjoy it. I remain with the people all day, every day. One country I can very well go to is Mali. You know, one country I can very well like in the Sahel. If there's one country I would like to go to, I think it's Mali. But at the end of the day, I can't really tell people where I uh, where I want to go because the good people among you are not the only one watching me. The bad people are equally watching me. The bad people are equally. so and I know. So yeah, it's very very good. So thank you all for coming. Um, I think we'll see tomorrow where we'll be able to bring a lot of information and the development on President Wadagni, the Wadagni's discourse with President Assimi Goïta. I think for Benin Republic to be able to get a seat with the Malian president is very, very, I mean, that's very, very good because, I think among the Alliance of Sahel, the toughest guys to really convince are the Malians. The, I'm being serious with you now, right? The toughest, like when they say this is their position, they will hardly change on that position, is the Malians. I can tell you that Algeria they're having fun with the remaining neighbors, but with Mali the Malians are the only guys that when they say no, you know, is no, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. So the fact that President Romuald Wadagni can go to Mali, they've really, really verified him, and they can tell you that he's on point. So um, thank you so much, and God bless you. France will leave. See, France is finished. By the time the Russia-Ukrainian war ends, you all are going to see with your very eyes how a lot of European countries are falling. You can't see it now because everybody are hiding under the Russian-Ukraine war. Some people are borrowing money. So at the end of the war, they will equally want to blame it on Russia. Look, they are banking on the Russian war not because they have a tactical strategy to make it end in a positive direction for them. No. The war is, look, this war is money laundering. Like, this war represents a lot of negative things. If that war ends, a lot of people are going to be exposed. But I don't even know. I don't even think they will be in government long enough to see the end of that conflict. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to appreciate you for coming. I'm very, very happy to have you all back. So I think I'll go now. Yeah. Thank you very much. Don't worry.